Good evening, good morning, good afternoon, wherever you are. This is Captain Doc Skinner on board the Starship Pariah, and you're watching the Doc Force. Good evening, everybody. It's Monday, and I hope you all had a good Easter weekend. We got a lot of people already jumping in the chat room, excited about tonight's guest. We've got the one and only Laura Eisenhower, and we'll have her on in just a moment. Quick roll call to the OGs in the chat room. Paul's here. Oh, I got to do the little thing here. Here's Paul. Dave Dennis from Australia is here. Hello, sir. Renee's here. Hello, Renee. Christina, British and proud from the UK. Welcome. We've gone international tonight. I love it. And oh, that's me. And then everybody doing their hellos. Yes. I know you guys have been waiting for a while, but I'm glad we finally could have her on. And we got a lot to talk about, but we're going to do an hour here, and then we're going to extend it over to Patreon. So if you're not a subscriber to Patreon, please do so over at patreon.com/ is it Doc Skinner? Yeah. Hold on. I'm waiting for the ticker to go by to tell me what my, I think it's / Doc Skinner. Yes. Anyway, so there it's a little less filtered, you might say. So we're gonna have a great time. Terry Reesing has just jumped on board. Welcome aboard, Terry. And we'll get this thing going. More people, I'm sure, will pop in. If you could, please hit that share it to your other social networks, and another window, open it up to the side. And if you could help us with that, makes a lot more fun tonight. All right, without any further ado, ladies and gentlemen, I'd like to introduce someone who I consider a good friend. She's just a sweetheart. Ladies and gentlemen, Laura Eisenhower. Oh, you're on mute?
Yeah. Hey,
oh, there we
Doc.
go.
So great to be here with you. My goodness.
Yes, you too. You've been busy.
Yeah, I noticed that I'm pretty much busy all the time.
Yeah, you're always doing something.
Yeah. But we all are.
Yeah, it's like we're all doing so much, and
like I seek boredom and laziness. I'm like, oh, please, like for a vacation. Anyway, go ahead.
Yeah, no, I've been I've had this one horror nightmare I've been dealing with. It's my floor, and my friend finally we're putting in the last piece. He's actually doing the seal right now in the last row, and it has been a 3-month struggle, and everybody who watches the show has been along for the journey. So yeah, that along with everything else I've been doing, it's just been crazy. But crazy just seems to be the norm these days on planet Earth. And
insanity is the new normal.
Yeah, and looking back at I think somewhere in scripture it says it'll be the days when good is bad and bad is good, and I can't see how we're not there now, because it's just everything is opposite day. It is the crazy. It's like I'm in bizarro world sometimes.
I know.
It just doesn't make sense.
Totally. Absolutely. It's unbelievable. It's just like just waking up in the morning and just like even the weird dreams. It's just like, seriously? It's like, yeah. It's like, all right. It's like, I'm more insane than the insane world. Yeah. Like I'm going to match you on that one, like playing poker with the universe.
Right. And the insanity itself just seems to be encouraged. I guess that could be the master plan that they want, they, whoever you want to call them. Um, but it's gotten really
Hey.
bad, yeah, with all of these lockdowns and stuff. And so I feel like I have to tap dance around this subject, whereas Patreon we won't have to. But I want you said you wanted to talk about Shanghai, and or I did,
Yeah,
one of
whatever
us
you
did,
want to talk about.
because I think I remember hearing you bring it up, or you posted something
Yeah, I
about
did
it,
post something. Yeah.
and I said, well, did you want to talk about it? So let's do it.
Yeah.
Um, it it's gotten it's be almost beyond Orwellian over there, and the videos that are coming out that are being blocked. Luckily, TikTok has the ability. I mean, people learn how to download stuff, so thank God of that. And then repost. And a lot of us are doing it at expense of losing our accounts, but we feel that it needs to get out there. Now, this
Yeah,
video,
I got restricted and shut down for what I posted about Shanghai. Yeah.
yeah.
Anyway, keep going. Yeah.
And so, I've been getting, flagged left and right, almost every single show. I've completely been transparent with my audience. I've showed them my backdoor in YouTube where it shows what videos are monetized. It's like 90% of them not monetized. And so I'm not making money here, and hence why
I
I did
know, me
Patreon.
neither. Like, no.
And
Like, I see minuses on my bank account, like, with like, in my early years. It's like, "Oh, here we go again." It's just like, it's like you purchase something for $3 and you get charged $35 for the overdraft fees. I'm like, "Here we
oh
go
yeah,
again."
yeah.
Great.
I was in that realm for a long time. Luckily,
Yeah, me too.
I've slowly pulled my way out of it after several years.
I
But
kinda dipped back into it recently, but yeah. Anyway, keep going. Yeah.
yeah, well, I mean, I'm right there. I'm just almost at the negative. I have enough to where the account isn't closed. You
Right?
know?
Just as long as, like, when I, like, purchase something, it's like, it says approved. I'm like, as long as it says approved, I'm like, "Boom, good."
Right, right. But let's see. It's yeah, that money and everything. That's a whole nother ballpark. But
I
let's.
know, right?
I'm going to try to not be OCD or be all over the
I
place
know, we're gonna
tonight.
go off on so many tangents. It's gonna be a fucking crazy train tonight.
That's why I love having you on. So so yeah, it's gotten so bad over there that the video that I saw, the one that just hit me, and I think it's the same one you posted, it's where someone's filming out of their apartment building. And it's all these buildings in Shanghai, and they're all screaming. I don't know what they were screaming because I don't speak that language, but they sounded gut wrenching and
Oh,
painful,
good,
and
yeah.
just tear jerking to
Oh,
hear
I
it.
know.
And it was everybody. I mean, all the apartments were filled with. I mean, they had people and all because they're all being restricted. They can't even go in the hallways.
Being
Um,
starved
yeah,
to death, for
well,
the and
yeah,
it like, the worst Armageddon, like, B-rate movie, like, playing
yeah.
out.
And I just saw yesterday, a guy did a TikTok video where he took his drone and hooked a fishing line to it and dropped it down to the koi pond at the bottom in the like entry walkway area of the building outside, and was catching fish that way, dragging them up and droning them up to his so he could eat. That's how I mean, it's just insane. And the fact that it seems like I don't want to say the majority because I know I believe in my heart, majority of the people are seeing this and they're mad and they're not cool with this. But the fact that it's being rejected by these overlords in tech land, um, God, I mean, how do you feel about this thing with Elon trying to, you know,
Ah,
do you think he's
you
going to
know,
let us all back on?
I feel like, there's people that are bridgers between, like, the AI, sort of artificial timelines and organic ascension, that they're kind of like, they got a foot in both worlds, right?
And
But you
that's
never
what I want to
know,
talk about
like, if
tonight.
you're gonna,
Yeah.
like, flip this way or that way. It's the same with, like, the T guy, who was president. It's like, you don't know from one day to the next. It's like, "Oh my god, is he, like, have our back? Or is
Mhm.
he just so compromised?" I feel the same way about, like, a person like Elon. It's like, you see the good, but it's just like, "Whoa," but then there's, like, all these red flags, right?
Well, yeah, I
And
see.
I don't look to them to be anything, to do anything. but at the same time, yeah, they're very influential. They're in a leadership role, but like, look at who we are and like the planet, and like, and this is what's so interesting about being in the Eisenhower family, and understanding a lot about galactic history and like Mother Earth. It's just like, there's a lot of deeper layers that I wouldn't say are in charge or in control, but has a certain alignment with cosmic and natural law versus this tyrannical deep state sort of thing where you don't know like if your friend is your enemy.
Right.
And I feel that way about a few of these characters that we're talking about.
Yeah. Well, and see, I feel the same way. It's like a double-edged sword with Elon, because yes, he's doing a lot of really cool stuff,
Right. Yeah.
but at the same time, the one thing that scares me is his new AI Tesla robot that he says is going to outdo Boston Dynamics robots like the dog and the walking guy and all that.
Well,
And
they had drones and walking dogs in Shanghai, like giving people orders.
yes, yeah, literally barking out orders. There was actually even helicopters flying over the buildings in another video, I think shot by the same person, looked like the same position, where over the loudspeaker from the helicopter, they're saying, please go inside your apartments. Don't be singing. Don't be shouting out or anything like
right.
that.
And like, and don't fight for freedom, because no, it's like, are you freaking kidding me?
Yeah. Yeah. It's
Rachel.
it's so I know okay, I didn't want to say hi,
I love
Rach.
Rachel so much. Rachel. All right, sorry, keep going. No.
Yeah, I figured you might, but
No, gosh, oh my gosh, she lives in my heart, and I know she's
yes,
gone
she
through
is.
so much lately. Oh my god.
Yes.
Anyway, keep going. Yeah.
But it's just scary because they're people are not dying naturally. We'll just say, like I said, we're tap dancing here on the public forum. So if you want to hear the non tap dance show, come over to a Patreon after this at 8:30.
I hope I'm being not saying things that
No. I wasn't saying that for
I
you.
know.
I'm
We'll
just saying in
really get
general.
into it like on the next thing. Yeah.
Yeah, and this is kind of like this is
Yeah,
kind
we're
of
just
like
like,
the detour. See what you can get. Go over here.
right.
um, but yeah, it's gotten so bad that these videos that are coming out, and they're not fake. The fake ones are the ones you can see on major media, but the
Right.
ones that
Yeah.
are
Yeah.
independent,
The false flags, the psychological operations, and the theatrics, that
right?
we've been dealing with, we all know about. This is different. Exactly. Thank you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so, anyway, it's getting so bad over there. It's gotten so bad in Australia. I mean, it's getting a little better now.
Canada,
Yeah, and it's just heart wrenching. And here we are.
it is.
It's like we've got a force not to be reckoned with, but I just feel like it's still kind of stagnant. It's like, when's this other shoe going to drop? I mean, we're seeing it here, like in Shanghai, and that stuff scares the hell out of me. Now, if you can't, because we all know about the population control, eugenics,
Yeah.
and that it's all about bringing the population numbers down. And the one thing that I've recently come across, and I had the epiphany live on my show, and I pulled up the same movie clips from this movie called Revelations. I think it was Revelations, and it came out in the early '90s. And the concept was the Antichrist. His name was Macaluso. He was this hero to everybody, and he mentioned that there was going to be this Day of Wonders. Now, the Day of Wonder. Are you familiar with this film? If not, it's okay. I've gone through it a couple times.
I'm not. I'm like, what
Okay.
is this?
Well,
What
I will
again?
find it and send you a link so you can watch it.
Nice.
It's crazy because it's so prophetic. It's just before people really knew what VR was, and this is the early '90s. Okay, I mean they had Lawnmower Man. That was about it that came out.
Right. No, I remember all
But
that. It's
but
like there's all this predictor
and
programming kind of
and
movies that came up. But yeah,
actually, funny I say that, the guy that plays the Lawnmower Man, the robot guy,
Stephen King
he's
one.
yeah, in that movie, he's the same actor that's in this
Pierce
scene.
Brosnan, like in that.
Someone, but yeah. So Macaluso, or the Antichrist, he gives every human being on the planet a pair of VR goggles, right? And he says, put these on after midnight on this day, which is the Day of Wonders. And even if you were blind or you were handicapped or whatever, you put it on, and inside you could see, you could, run and feel, and it was like the Matrix, right? And this was actually before the Matrix came out. Now that I think about it. And so what this allowed Macaluso to do was to be everywhere, omnipotent at once. Whereas if he was just individual, he'd have to, have people lining up or whatever, or they'd have, camps or whatever you'd go to, and you'd take the mark. So instead, this is all done in the VR world, and the devil gets you one-on-one. And he says, see, this is what I can give you. I can give you all this. I can give you sight. I can, give you your dead family back, all these things, right? And people would say yes. And then he goes, bow down to me, and they take the mark, and then boom, their soul's gone. So the guy that was the lawnmower man, his character, he's a Christian, and he's like, no, Satan, I'm not doing this. That's not my family. Yeah, I'll have to get it I'll get you a link and name and all that. And so, he says no. And next thing you see is him laid on a bench that's like a cross with his head through a guillotine. At the top of the guillotine is the triangle eye from the dollar bill. And he goes, are you sure? And he goes, no, I'm good. And we figure what happens. So here's what I was thinking was, what if they use the metaverse to entrap people to take the mark? There was an article that they've already offered people an opportunity to spend 150 years in the metaverse, but they have to give up their body. And there's going to be some dumb people out there that are going to do it. And here's the thing. Once you do that and you use Neuralink, which is what scares me with Elon, and you go into the Matrix with your consciousness. Now, is your consciousness your soul as well? Is that going to be trapped in there under their authority, because now they own the rights to you?
Well, see, inverted unity consciousness. It's like oneness, unity consciousness, new world order, where you got to draw a line in the sand. Unity consciousness to me is about diversity and harmony, about human sovereignty, not about like being hive mind and plugged into like the AI system that they are trying to glamorize and make it look like it's a really good breakthrough for humanity. And I just don't fucking feel it.
Yeah. Christina from UK says Elon is not our friend. I don't want a chip in my head. Thanks. No, I'm the same way. And what scares me is he does these lectures and he talks about his fear of AI and how he has access to the best AI in the world.
Yet he's all about it. It's just like the contradictory. He must be like a Gemini on acid and steroids. I mean, come on.
I don't know. Yeah. I mean, granted, I would love to be in a room with him and pick his brain.
Me too.
I mean, granted, but I hope he doesn't turn out to be the anti or something.
Well, yeah, it's like, the Antichrist is also like, the what chosen one Messiah. It's like,
right.
But at the same time, it's just like, what? Shut the F up and let's like come back to ourselves and recognize that, we don't need to look to these people. I can't stand those that think they have the control or authority over humanity. It's just sick to me. And that's why I really appreciate Eisenhower, because he's like, the government structure is like all this leadership stuff and putting people in these positions. He's like, so it's like, starseed missions and like people that are like your divine birthright to be a sovereign individual. Why do we have to even deal with these? Well, why are they granted the influence and authority to dictate what our future holds? I just don't get it.
Do you think they're human?
I don't know. Do you think they're intrusion and agendas and we got ET genetics as well? But if we don't switch on these dormant strands of DNA, we're going to be played. We're going to be messed with, and we have to just like cut the cords and just say, "Excuse me, like, who are you to determine our future?" Like, I feel a lot more connected to like Mother Earth and the core diamond sun energies and nature, and like, and how that it's advancing us on a technological level. So it's kind of like a right and left brain integration process that we need to embrace. But if that integration process isn't accepted by certain individuals, it's more compartmentalization. It's more like fragmented timelines. And it's just like, you know what? That's why we need to sit down and have a fucking talk with Elon Musk and like, oh, Bill Gates, you want to come over? Like, why can't we all just sit down and have a fucking conversation here? It's like, and then, you know, when I look at it, it's so wild to be born to the Eisenhower family. I was like, this dude was a general, 5-star general in the Second World War, a 2-term president. You know, it's like, hey, they're like, oh no, yeah, she's just crazy. Like, yeah, well, whoever Laura Eisenhower is. No, let's all sit down and like talk this out. So anyway, sorry,
No, you'd be so good on SNL.
I used to want to be on SNL. I wanted to create my improv and like stand up and whatever stand up. It's just like, you know, I laugh at myself way too much, and I'm self-deprecating.
Well, that's those are the best kind of people, because I mean they can take a joke even on themselves.
Oh hell yeah! Oh man, comedy's everything. So I'm still listening. I'm just gonna take a little wee break, but keep going. Yeah, I just shutting off my camera.
What was I talking? No, it's okay. I'm just trying to think what we're
SNL and
oh well, yeah, no, just because people that can laugh at themselves is awesome. So yeah. Anyway, back to all this craziness with the metaverse. It scares the hell out of me. At the same time, there's this one small element in me that is it's enticing. I mean, who doesn't want to be like Keanu Reeves and go, I just learned Kung Fu, you know, that, and then having the ability to bend the spoon and just all of that. Of course, I'm a guy, and that superhero type stuff. So, you know, I'm into that.
Wait, bend the spoon like Ingo Swan, you're talking?
No, like in the Matrix.
Right.
You know, I said there's an element of me that is enticed by this whole metaverse, because who wouldn't want to be Keanu Reeves and, you know, bend the spoon, jump the buildings, you know, fly eventually. But here's another thing. You've seen the trilogy, correct?
Oh yeah.
Okay. Here's my question. What if the trilogy itself is our Morpheus telling us, yo, through entertainment, yo, you're all asleep. Well, and this is actually a simulation. And then the metaverse is actually a simulation within a simulation.
Well, I think it's kind of like looking in the mirror, like the whole AI thing, free will universe. We kind of face ourselves and see these kind of avatars or projected like images to have to contend with. That doesn't have to be an enemy, but it's like, you know, kind of like a video game. Like sometimes I wake up and I'm just like, you know, remember Atari and like all these video games are just like, it's no different. It's just like, you know, it's like, oh, yeah, I just did that. You ate the little like grape and you got 3 more lives. And it's just like, I don't know.
No, I was actually,
we're facing ourselves in a very interesting way. And yeah, I just feel like we have to just embrace it instead of battle it, you know. But what we need to battle though is like, of course, you know, our heart, like the wrenching of you know, human trafficking, like, you know, just knowing that children are being like abused. I mean, that to me is like where it gets really heavy. The rest of it is just like, yeah, it's like, yeah, it's a fucking video game. But when it comes to yeah, innocent children being harmed, yeah, that's when I start to get into the sadness and depression of it all.
And a lot of people that, you know, are new to the show don't know that you know, I was in the entertainment industry most of my life, and I moved to the mountain to run from it because I was aware of those things. I was groomed, you know, many people trying to get me to a certain point, but I would catch on, or, you know, that little angel on my shoulder says, you need to go to the right instead of the left. And that's why I believe in angels. I'm told I got a lot of them around me, but
yeah. My angels are so tired and exhausted. They're like,
time out, coach.
Yeah, they're like, we'll be back. Don't worry. But like, seriously, sorry, keep going. Yeah.
Angels like, we need a drink.
Yeah, I know. My angels are like partying it up. We have a big bar. Like me and the angels just like, fuck. Sorry. Yeah.
No, I get it. But oh man, I'm just having that visual. That's funny. That's funny.
I know.
So a lot of people are saying hello, by the way. I've been kind of, the chat room's been going, so I've been kind
I
of
know,
flowing
military
them.
industrial complex. No, they'd ship me off to Mars. Yeah, it's like, yeah,
Oh
that would
yeah,
have
yeah,
gone well. That would have gone well. No,
yeah.
I
That
ain't
would.
going nowhere. I ain't
Little did
going
they know.
nowhere.
20 years later, it's like Queen Laura Eisenhower of Mars. She like running the place.
Oh, jeez. Oh, God. No, if I'm in charge of anything or leadership or any queenship or any goddessship, no, it's all about like just about the people. It's about like the thriving of the kingdoms. Remember, like back when royalty was nature royalty and not like reptilian fucking queen, king, freaking Vatican, freaking royal family BS. It was no. It's all about nourishing the kingdom and like it's all about empowering the people, and it's just like facilitating and holding space. It's not like real leadership. It's not like it's a very different hierarchy. It's just being a guardian, being a guardian, not a fucking douchebag schmuck. Sorry. Reptilian,
It's all good.
Rico, adrenochrome. What is I just like I'll never get used to this. What about you? Like, do you ever like
Well, yeah, I'm not used to. You never get used to it, but I think you become a little numb to it after you've seen some stuff. I mean,
yeah.
recently some of the laptop stuff got out that
So
no
I'm
one's really talking
rolling
about.
this, and everybody is like, "No, I'm not smoking weed." And even if I did, who cares? It's a nice little tobacco blend, and don't give me shit, all right? And if you do, it's like I don't give a fuck. Sorry, keep going.
Oh man, remember Patreon? That's where the real good stuff comes.
I
So
know I'm jumping the gun here. Right,
I love it.
I'm gonna scroll down. Sorry.
Yeah, no. Quite all right. Quite all right. Someone Tina says, if anyone in the world was alien, in my opinion, it would be Elon, hands down.
Yeah, there's definitely an alien vibe there.
Yeah.
Like
He
alien
actually.
agenda, like it's like this alien invasion is like like literally if we break it down to the micro level, it's like literally like being molested or raped. It's like, this invasion. It's like, how dare you do this to Mother Earth? How dare you do this to, beautiful divine humans? This intrusion and this infiltration is absolutely disgusting. It's like, get off of here. You're not welcome. We all have to like rise up and we don't have to, we come together and just let go of it all, cut the cords, don't comply, don't follow that authority. Let's come together and like just say, oh no, it's sick. It's a sick intrusion. Mother Earth doesn't like it.
No, it's gotten so bad. And when you hear stuff about the different races that are here, it starts to make sense. And the lizard people and all that, when you're younger, you think it's just all wise tales, but
yeah, and we were part of that too. As part of our healing in the free will universe, we have reptilian part of our brain,
right?
Like, and people have like bloodlines and connections. I mean, it's not like it's totally foreign, but at the same time, it's like enough already. We're flipping it around. The Baphomet energy, the inverted pentagram, we're flipping it around. And, all the light is being shown in these dark corridors and places. And they don't want that. They don't like it. So they keep doing all these psyops and all these false flags to just cover up and cover up and cover up. It's like, no, you're going to be held accountable. Doesn't mean that you won't be forgiven. Doesn't mean that there isn't unconditional love. But enough already. Too many of us get it. Too many of us are awakened. And you're not going to get away with this anymore. And it's just sick and disgusting. You've been in the Hollywood world and you've seen it firsthand, and look at how strong you are to be the person you are today. I have like the utmost respect for you.
Oh, thank you, sweetheart. The feeling is very mutual. Yeah, it was looking back, I had it really easy in the entertainment industry. I rarely had to work hard for anything. I just got the roles. And until years later did I understand why. Because I used to have hair and I used to look like Christian Slater. So, but now, yeah, it's just, it was,
Yeah, you
I
have
was
all
bad.
those phases.
yeah, people. I was being groomed, but nothing dramatic ever happened. I always found my way out of the situation or had an excuse.
Right, right.
But
The same
that
with
was
me.
but
It's
but
the
that
same
but
Eisenhower family. It's like I was able to like wiggle my way around it without like. Sorry, keep going. Yeah,
no, because that's how I am. I'm like a bridge person where when I
yeah.
work, for example, when I first 15 years old, lied on my application that I was 16 at Six Flags Over Texas. I was a stage tech, and the way the world was in the entertainment world is, you had your entertainers and you had your crew members, and there was always this separation. And I didn't think that was cool, so I befriended the performers as well as the crew, and I always thought people needed to come together, and the segregation was baloney. But the biggest secret in Hollywood is people being groomed, being trafficked, being passed around. You'll see a lot of these famous celebrities who are getting engaged or they're dating so and so. A lot of that stuff's set up. It's like a power move. Um, and then that's when you see those marriages. They're not happy in the end. So, but anyway, so yeah, the whole world's going to shit, and
Yeah,
all we can do is just hope for the best. Um, what
yeah, and
what
like
if you if you were to say a movie title to describe where you see us being in the next few years, what movie do you think that would be?
well, I don't want to go into like Hunger Games or like Fifth Wave, all these Armageddon
The
scenarios.
dramatic stuff.
Yeah, or like Mad Max or like this or that. I have a completely like different vision that so embedded in me that you can never shake me loose from it. That is something way different than all these possible scenarios or timelines. So what do I call it? The movie hasn't been created yet. I haven't seen it yet.
Well, then I think I might have
But
one. I
I'm
was
putting out a book, and
yeah.
yeah, maybe people will be inspired by it because there's a beautiful world awakening that is very different from a lot of these scripts.
Then I have, I think, a movie for you. It's called The Celestine Prophecy.
Oh yeah, no, I read it. Yeah, James Redfield.
But have you seen the movie?
There's a
There
movie.
is a movie, yes, and it
It's like The
gives the
Secret. I don't
oh
know.
yeah, and it's a beautiful movie. It's action packed, chase
We
scenes
have
and
a
stuff.
Celestine Prophecy movie.
Yes, it came out probably 15, 20 years ago. And what it does is the
No, I read that book.
description.
Yeah, no,
Yeah.
that
Oh,
was.
it was one of the few books I read when I was young.
I know
I
I
fell in
don't
love
read
with it.
many books, but the books that I have read are gold nuggets, right?
Yeah. And there's a scene where the new guy who's new to the group, he's kind of hitting on one of the girls. And visually, they show you his aura, and you see her aura and how his aura is kind of overpowering hers. And she starts to get offset and wants to go away. And I was like, that's how I feel when I'm talking to people. I feel like that sometimes. The energy vampires. Yes, you should see the movie if you like the book. It's
Oh yeah.
really it's
Oh
really
my
good.
god. Well, I mean, yeah. When we end our wonderful evening tonight, you know what I'm going to be doing, like Google search or Amazon search or whatever, Netflix,
IMDb.
IMDb. God, I have a I don't know who created my IMBD or whatever it is. But I have one. It has every show I've ever done, Ancient
Mhm.
Alien, all this stuff. I'm like, who's doing this? And of course they choose like the worst picture. I'm like, why can't I have any say in this? I'm like, can you choose a better picture? Because I look like a fucking crazy train.
Well, yeah.
Who does this? Like Wikipedia, right? Like
I
they have these biographies and they decide like how they're going to describe who you are. It's so weird.
yeah, especially when it's one that they can edit. Anybody can edit. I've never been a Wikipedia guy. Because that just it doesn't feel legit
They just
sometimes.
do it without any
Well,
kind of
I
credit.
know.
Somebody got in touch with me like, we're gonna create a profile for you on IMBD or whatever, or Wikipedia, but I Google myself and I'm like, what?
Yeah,
Like,
well, I would ask people over at Ancient Aliens because they probably do that for every episode. They probably have to because they're putting your name on their IMD sheet for that episode. So they got to have it linked to something. So they may have done that. Some movies will do that for people. So, but I love IMDb. Before the vid happened and lockdown, I was actually doing pretty good. I was going up there and I hadn't done anything really, but because I was in this small film, it went up and it was so exciting. And then
what was his name? The film.
Turnover was the name of the film, and we filmed it in Long Beach, California, with a huge cast.
Oh God, is it where the St. Mary boat is? I remember going to Long Beach.
Oh, I don't know, but there's a lot of boats in Long Beach right now because they're just hovering outside the coast. And that's crazy too, just everything. And the other thing, oh my God, it's so sad. LA, um, some of these major cities, they're just turning into tent cities. Um, it's just heart-wrenching, but I don't want to say I had the vision of all of this happening years ago. I had the knowing that this was all coming, and was all going to happen. And my mother, who I love dearly, thought I was a nut job for many years.
Oh man, same with my
Yeah.
parents. Oh my God, it's like
And yeah, not that she called me all the names, but other people would call me kook, tinfoil hat guy, conspiracy job, all these things, right? But now people, there's a change of tune. And I think people are now seeing what we've all known for a long time. Um, it just scares me that all this has been coming to fruition. Now I'm more worried about what I feel or visualize is coming later down the line. But I hope for the best,
no, I
you know.
feel you. I right there with you on that one.
And it's so hard with what we do because we get bombarded by information and people and anger from people and all kinds of things, and it wears us out. But I'm glad that I stuck it out because I feel a little redemption nowadays. But we still got a long way to go to. I feel like anybody that hasn't woken up yet, I don't know if they're going to wake up yet at all.
And when they do, it's a very awkward, when they might realize, like, like, oh, what did they? But it's like kind of the
It
unconditional kind of love thing. It's just like, doesn't mean that all this was for nothing. Like everything that people have worked for or worked towards, their degrees, their Hollywood stance, or their, doctors, lawyer. Well, but yeah, when they, it's like it's getting so ridiculous that anybody with common sense, it's not conspiracy. It's like literally like laughable, with the
yeah
whole Biden thing. And like, it's just like, seriously, like you people voted for this person and it's like, you're not seeing this and they're still going along with this narrative. Even people that are in the healing arts or that consider themselves shamans are like buying into this narrative. It's like mind blowing. And even family members, it's just like they're so intelligent, so spiritually based, and so all about love, but they're buying into this. It's like you don't see it. It's like, and when they do, it's just like damage control. We're just gonna have to like help mitigate the damage with unconditional love and healing therapies and ways to overcome the trauma and shock of this level of betrayal and ridiculousness.
yeah. And there's been so much trauma on this planet,
God.
especially the past couple of years. you know George Orwell, he was
Mhm.
on to something. Now
Yeah.
let's try to be a little more fun for a minute, for the last 20, if we can. Let's talk about some of these people that have come into the world. Do you think maybe they're time travelers? I know this is a
There's a
left
lot of time
turn, but
traveling happening.
yeah.
That's a huge part of it all.
And do you believe in the project Looking Glass? And
Oh, I was very involved in when I was recruited to go to Mars. It was through the Looking Glass technology that they set up a scenario to try and take me off planet. And it was through the Looking Glass technologies that oh, that's a whole nother like
Well,
story to get
it
into. Oh
is
my
the
god.
Looking Glass technology, is it like an AI?
Well, it's supposedly like based in like Sumerian seals, based in there's been upgrades to this particular technology where they can, kind of see the future, sort of like remote viewing and chronovision.
Okay.
But what I came to understand was that the Looking Glass technology couldn't read anything past 2012. It was just like sort of a blank slate. So the deep state kind of tactics, as far as like generating an artificial timeline, are relying on the Project Mockingbird kind of like fake news. And well, as long as we can entrap people into the social engineering and false narratives through all these different approaches to, own a person's mind, uh, it still is sort of alive. But the minute a person awakens from it and breaks free from it, the future is ours to co-create. Like you're
Right.
not like they don't have any like real ownership, because this particular window period that some call an ascension window period, which gets very misunderstood, has a lot to do with just human advancement and all the different cosmic and earthly events that are taking place as far as the astrology is concerned. um it's presenting people with a choice, and once you make the wise choice, your future is completely different than the Looking Glass kind of projection of, how they're monitoring or trying to, profile through social media the psychological, as far as, you know, oh, well, this would be a great false flag to create, like Black Lives Matter and like climate change and, all these different like so-called movements where people feel very noble as their good intent has been targeted to enslave them even more so when they think that the opposite is happening. It's like,
Hmm.
come on, guys. Like, aren't we over this? It's like, wasn't Nazi Germany enough? I mean, we all had these past lives and all this stuff. It's like, you know,
Yeah, I mean, here we have that history of Nazi Germany, yet people still bought into this bullshit.
they don't know about Project Paperclip. They don't know about
I
all these
know.
secret space programs and like what really like took place that you're not going to get in the history books. You're not going to
And,
get that education.
yeah,
All educational systems are indoctrination programs that feed on like, these movements that people think are liberating, but no, it's totally a part of the game to create what we're talking about. Like,
right. And a lot of people, like you said, people don't even know about Project Paperclip, where we brought all the top Nazis and scientists that worked on the missile systems over here. Now, here's the crazy thing. This was just revealed in the past year because the National Park Services had to take this facility and make it like a monument place, a historical monument. And it was a military base that was like a country club. And it was the location outside of Washington, D.C., just right outside the borders of Washington, D.C. And they that's where all these Nazi Germans, they even brought them, they were still wearing their jackets and their uniforms. They took them right off the front line and brought them over here. And they put them in this camp that was so top secret. And all of the military personnel that worked on this base were all brand new recruits that were all Jewish, that had just escaped from Nazi Germany to come to America to join the military to go fight Hitler. And here they are. They had to stay home in America and protect all these guys that would kill them in a heartbeat. And that stuff like that, people had no idea about.
yeah, but then you got the Zionist thing and like the whole like, Jewish gone bad, like not really representing like what really happened to the Jewish people and all the other holocausts that have happened throughout history.
Mhm.
um it's where it's like, people are like, when you say, oh, you're just a Jew or you're just a Zionist, it's just like, no, that's not representing the people that went through like the concentration camps, right?
Right.
There's a fine line with that word, that just the mind effery, because I'm not gonna drop F bombs here, but it's like, and all of a sudden, like, no, the Jews are the bad guys, but it's not representing like the heart of, like, it has to do with the Khazarian mafia and the Zionists, and how they fund both sides of war, and how it's the conquer and divide program and strategy.
Yeah.
And
Oh, no, no. Yeah, the SEALs and all them. I mean, that's how they go in. They won't even. They can go in and take out two groups, like two gang or two tribal groups, right? And go over there and say, hey, they were talking some shit about you, blah 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 blah. Then go over there and say, hey, they were talking some shit, and have them take each other out, and then they just go over and pick up the weapons, without having to do anything. And that's how governments work. And ever since the last Napoleon War, the Rothschilds, Rockefellers, all of them, they had family members in the military that were able to get word back to them within a few hours that we defeated Napoleon in France, wherever it was. This happened, and they decided, ooh, let's tell all of London and the stock market that he won and he's coming. And so what did they do? Everybody took their stocks and sold them to the Rockefellers and the Rothschilds.
you froze. You're frozen.
Oh, are you
Oh no,
there?
you're back. Okay, you froze for a second.
Every time it's keywords. And
No,
then
right?
the camera lock stuff. It's weird. But yeah, so what they did is they knew that was happening, and they literally took over Europe overnight through the stock market by fooling everybody thinking Napoleon was coming to invade. And then everybody wanted their shares back the next day. They're like, oh no, you're paying more. So they did that, and they took that money, and then with their money from that war on, every little small battle to major world war, they funded both sides and
Yeah,
made money off of it. That's part of the blood sacrifice too.
yeah.
And Brooks Agnew.
Of course,
I
yes.
mean,
Of
I know,
course,
I
he's
know
a
you
great
know.
friend of mine. Yeah.
Yes. He gave me an enlightenment, a show I did 6 months ago, I think. And he blew my mind, like he does every show he's on with me. I asked him, I said, what is it about the blood that is so vital and important in bloodlines and sacrifice and rituals and all this stuff? And he goes, it goes back to the Garden of Eden. Now, has he ever told you this story about the bloodline?
Yeah, we've talked about it. Yeah, we've had a lot of really
Oh,
in-depth conversations.
yeah. And well, when he told
But
me
if I shut my camera off for a second, I'm still listening. I'm just
yeah, that's all good.
so keep going. Yeah.
So yeah, it was just really cool how he explained that Eve actually had intercourse with not only Adam but with the snake Satan, and so she had two seeds in her, and that produced Cain and Abel. And what
I was
happened?
just gonna say that. Yes,
And
yes.
then
Well,
so
it's like Enki and
Cain,
Enlil and Osiris and Seth. It's the same kind of pantheon dynamic. Sorry, keep going. Yeah.
yeah, and so but what happened is Abel was the bloodline of God, and Cain was the bloodline of Satan. So Cain killed Abel, and that led just a bloodline for Satan through those years. And supposedly that's why Jesus was sent here with his bloodline to kind of clean it up or something.
Counteract
So
it and yeah, reset it.
yeah.
Yeah, with the babies he had with freaking Mary Magdalene.
Hmm. And then you got the cup and all that
Oh yeah.
mystery
Oh
that
yeah.
Dan. Oh, yeah, what great stories. And so there's that bloodline, and it just made so much more sense on why it was always important. And I'm in interact with people all the time, and there are times when I feel like that's a Cain bloodline right there. There's just something not right.
Right.
Um, and what scares me is that what if there is the majority of that bloodline here on Earth, and it literally is down to only 144,000 here on Earth that
Right.
you
Yeah,
know
144,000, all the star seeds. But at the same
yep.
time, like, it comes down to what? RH negative, RH positive. But, any free will person that might have that lineage or ancestry can break it at any time. You're not bound to it. So, that's part of like the alchemy or turning it all around, that you see people that have been born into these family lines or been part of these projects that are like, wow, I woke up to it, and I'm changing it. Like a lot of the people that you and I know, Kathy O'Brien, Laura Worley, and Derek, and these people that are like recovering from the trauma-based mind control ritual abuse,
Yeah.
that aren't going to be continuing this. They're calling it out, so that's really hopeful. And I know a lot of people that are like, oh yeah, I have Draco genetics, or I was born into this family. And the Eisenhower family's a little bit different. We don't have to go into that, but yeah, you can break that agreement just as much as we can break up with a narcissist abuser if they're our partner. It's like, when do we just say enough is enough? To just say, I don't want to, just because it's in your blood and genetics doesn't mean you can't override it with a reunion or a reconnection with like true spirit and your true origins, that I feel is going to change the vibration of that blood or that Cain element that is the demon seed that is participating in this sort of Luciferian kind of deal. Like, and it's not even about the figure Luciferian. It's about like, how do we overcome the false light and
Right.
the fiction matrix? We all have genetics that pull us into that process, that we have to go into that dark night of the soul to break it. And some people have it heavier than others, but we're all faced with the same kind of challenge. And the best we can do as far as unity consciousness is concerned is to have compassion and unconditional love, because all the blackmail and all the people that feel trapped, that don't want to participate in these ritual abuses, and
But they got some video on them that's
like, please help me. Like, they're afraid of like, ruining their career, their families. And, it's just like we see with like Tom Hanks and some of these celebrities. It's like, all right, maybe he was drugged and he was filmed, and, it's like, oh, Tom Hanks is a pedophile. But it's like, do we really know the full picture? And instead of throwing these people under a bus, we need to understand the level of multi-generational trauma-based mind control and satanic ritual abuse,
Yeah. Well, and I want to, maybe we can go into that in more detail in the
I
second
know I'm
part.
probably dropping way too much on a like.
No. There's plenty. Believe me, I know there's plenty out there, stuff to talk about. But yeah, we got about another 6 minutes, and then we'll take a 30-minute break, and we'll come back and we'll be on Patreon. So if you want to see the rest, a little less filtered, then go to patreon.com/Doc Skinner. It's down here on the little scroll thing. So yeah, it's there. And please become a member. I appreciate it. It allows us to do things like this that
Exactly right.
most platforms won't let us do.
Yeah, I got banned from Patreon, and it's like, I've lost pretty much all my income, and I'm just, the only thing that I do with any kind of money I make is to give back and create things that are going to assist humanity. And it's just like, we need your support, because it's a full-time job, and we don't have a boss. We work for humanity, and we need humanity's support. So
yeah, and that's why my motto is, and I'll say it again at the end of the show, but as long as we all lift each other up, we can all rise together instead of clawing our way up.
Oh my gosh.
Oh, you didn't know that?
Did you make t-shirts and bumper stickers? Because
I actually did a shirt. Yeah.
Yeah, well, tell me about it, and I'll put it out there. And like, yeah.
No,
man,
I mean, I really, that is my mantra. Is that the word I'm looking for? My mantra.
It's a beautiful mantra. Yeah, it's a mantra.
As long as we all lift each other up, we will all rise together. Because in the business, I've seen how people climb over each other, putting their foot in people's faces to get to where they are, and they get where they are.
The indoctrination of like this competition. I mean, that's what, like, when I was on certain sports teams, I'm like, it almost ruins it. It's like, I love to play, soccer or baseball or beyond. But when you see the mentality of like competition, same with like, careers, it's just like knocking people over to be the successful one. It's just like, wow, I just never, it just kind of repelled me. I'm like, never mind. Like, I just wanted to like play soccer and have fun instead of having to Sorry, you know what I mean? Like,
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Sometimes you just don't want to do anything, and you just want to have fun.
I don't
I,
want to
I,
knock
I
anybody over to be the winner. It's not about ego. It's like, it's like
just the
sometimes like I
activity.
purposely lost just to make people feel good. It's like because they were so like even like playing chess with certain partners I had. Like literally, if I started to beat them, they were like, "Oh my god, this is not okay." I'm like, okay, so I purposely lose so that your self-esteem doesn't go like, not to say I don't have my own self-esteem issues, but it's like I remember like purposely losing so that person wouldn't be all butt hurt and like bummed out. Like, it's
Yeah.
like, yeah, but I don't want to placate their ego either. But it's like, all right, we'll find a better time to have to like inform you that no, I'm sorry, you're not like smarter than me, but I'm stupid shit as well. So whatever.
Yeah. Well, cool. All right. Well, we're gonna wrap this one up. You'll have a 30-minute break, and then we'll just have you come back on, but we'll be on the Patreon. And I just want to say thank you to everybody that has been just crazy busy in the chat room tonight. I would do an extended roll call, but there's so many. I could try. Terry First Floor, Dave Dennis, Edward Sosa, Jules, Edward Sosa, or Sosa, the same one. Randy Warren, Dave Dennis, Casual
Hey,
Preparedness.
Dennis from Australia. He's
Oh,
such a
yeah,
good dude.
he
He's been
is.
such a good friend.
Yep. Tina Mobley, Christina, British and Proud, Elise Marie. Oh my God, so many, so many, so many. But I love because they love chatting with each other. Mathis, here, I'll just put it up here. I can't say it. Mathis,
Soylent Green. Oh my god.
yeah, that was his comment earlier.
You're eating.
Mr. B from Australia, he was here. Let's see, and of course Rachel. We love Rachel.
Oh,
And
Rachel.
and then Andy's here. And if I missed anybody, I'm sorry. I think I got everybody there. But yeah, so we'll be over on patreon.com/Doc Skinner, and we'll carry on with this. But we're gonna take a 30-minute break. So thank you so much for everybody hanging out with us. And of course, thank you, Laura. I'll see you here in about 30 minutes. And yeah, Monday through Thursday here on YouTube, Twitch, Twitter, and I did do Facebook because Laura's on tonight. So I said, all right. I've been rebelling against Facebook lately.
Oh,
and until Elon buys it, I feel like I got a target on my back.
yeah.
So
I'm sure he's gonna do good with it, but at the same time, it's just like figure out your AI like issues, okay?
yeah, right. So
you're
all right.
really confusing.
So until tomorrow night, everybody, thank you so much for hanging out with us tonight. If you want to continue this, we'll see you over on Patreon. Until then, remember, as long as we all lift each other up, we will all rise together. I'm Captain Doc Skinner on board the Starship Pariah, and this is the Doc Force. Good night, everybody. Oh wait, I got to do the cool out thing, and I forgot to do it. So
do it.
wait, here it is. All right, see you in a bit.